Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for our second match of the night. It's going to be SKT versus MVP. And these two teams are poised for an exciting match. I feel like this one could go a bit further than a 3-0, Valdez.
I would definitely agree with you. I think MVP is actually going to come out and play really well. SKT always, showing up most of the time, able to make it to the finals of the last season, and they're bringing another really strong roster, even after losing some great players. They've picked up a lot of good new ones, so I think they'll be just fine.
Here's a shot of them slimming down the jackets a little bit. Always love to talk about new wardrobe changes here. Looking very, very solid. I actually saw Dark just moments ago. Spoke to him for like a second. Seems to be in a really good mood today. And here is MVP starting with a zoom out on Lucira. Another new addition to their team. This team is, in my opinion, by far the best receiving team of trades this season, especially with all the trades we've had. I know it's a bit, almost sounds crazy to say, but insane amount of good players. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's talk about Dark versus MarineKing. Those two players shaking hands here as they are the opening match. Both of these players that I think are big must-see players for fans. You want to see both of these players almost every single time these two teams come out. And, a lot of people are thinking Dark is going to be a good up-and-coming player. You yourself, especially. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah, this guy, especially with the departure of Solky from SKT, he's got to fill that, second Zerg role and maybe even become the first Zerg, especially because Sue not playing the best. He's got that downwards purple arrow. Rather, you guys will see that when the rosters do pop up here in a second. But, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this guy playing today, especially against MarineKing, another guy who's doing incredibly well these days. Had a great performance in the Hot 6 Cup, especially.
Yep, there's Sue right there on the left side of the screen. You guys can see him there. And Hero from Team Liquid, also joining MVP as a mercenary here for this season. Don't be confused. He's still, of course, affiliated with Team Liquid. Billowy over there on the left side. And I missed actually who we had there for a second on the MVP bench.
Lucira was there.
Oh, Lucira, that's right. Okay. And Aphrodite as well, actually, listed as part of the roster. Don't think we'll end up seeing her play any matches, but she does claim that she's reached Grandmaster several times, and especially recently, I think this last season, she was claimed that she was able to get Grandmaster. So,
yeah, she was actually in the SSL qualifiers as well. I believe she was able to win one game, actually. I forget against who. But
she's putting herself out there. I mean, she does stream occasionally, and she does show up to the qualifiers. So, really trying hard. Well, you talked about these arrows. We saw Sue's arrow points downwards here, but so does Younghwa's in that Overgrowth match. Fourth one. Might not end up getting there. What's your favorite match of the night?
I really like Dark versus MarineKing. I said this before, I really want to see how Dark's doing on the first day here, the first time he gets to show himself, as well as MarineKing. I mean, MarineKing coming back here, playing for the team MVP and playing in the team league once again. Really want to see that matchup on King Sejong Station, a very standard, awesome map.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite for the night as well. Really curious to see what sort of game Center is going to bring tonight, as well as Seed. Now let's talk about the changes here for SKT. They lost Rain and Parting, two key players, two big-name players that did insanely well. They were absolutely core players for the team. They also lost Fantasy and Bravo, who didn't do all too well for SKT, and they also lost Solky. What did they gain? They gained Innovation, sick pickup. They gained Dream, another recently sick pickup, who actually used to be on the opposing team MVP. Sorry, we're not really sure about this guy. And Billowy, a great sniper player, some crazy Protoss play coming out of this guy, so not a bad pickup there either.
Yeah, but really got a points, like you were saying, at those two Terrans, Dream and Innovation. Huge pickups for them, especially the way Dream is playing. We got another correct pie graph here. As you guys do see, the Zerg ratio definitely falling a bit with Solky leaving here. So just more Protosses, more Terrans.
I notice the win streak there for SKT at 6-0. That's pretty insane. That's a pretty solid streak. They did very well. All right, let me see if I can explain this to you guys quickly enough, because this is the trades I want to talk about. I feel like the best trades that anyone got all season. In players, Younghwa, Seed, Hero, Panic, MarineKing, Center, Salvation, Tasia, and Lucira. Departure and Aphrodite, two pickups they also got as well, but every other player that I mentioned has been a solid player at some point in time. I guess you could argue that Salvation is another one of the weaker pickups they got. Panic was a sick player at one point. I know some of you guys don't remember. It was a while ago, and it wasn't for a long time. Seed's a GSL champion. Young, one of the most consistent pro rosters of all time. Hero from Team Liquid. That's all I need to say. MarineKing is winning a lot these days. Lucera's a GSL finalist. Tage is the world international champion who wins the most international tournaments. You look at all the players they lost. There's some really sad players down there. They lost Dream. They lost the Killer.
Super's in there.
Super. They lost
pretty
Sniper.
As well.
DRG is out. But I feel like the ins are much better than the outs, man. Here's our graph here.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this graph as well, and not sure that adds up either. Well, maybe, I guess it's like 0.44444 or something strange like that, just round and around here. But, again, actually one of the most balanced lineups we have, actually, out of any of the other teams here. So, pretty nice here. Like you were saying, I'm really looking forward to see this team play and see what they have to bring to the table. It's a totally revamped MVP team, and I think they can make a splash here.
Yeah, really think they can. I feel like they cut some of the weight that they don't really need out of their team. They've completely restructured. It's all been Choya's doing, who's actually working with Prime last season, and he's completely restructured the team. And this is something that was being discussed for actually several weeks because people were leaving a lot of different teams, and people were wondering where are they going, are they disappearing, are they retiring, and a lot of them ended up here on MVP. So I think this team could actually be the equivalent of last season's Jin Air, a very solid team. If these players continue to improve under Choya's regime, if you will, and with the lineup they've got, they could go as far as I think Jin Air did last season as always a scary powerhouse, perhaps winning a round or two.
Well, guys, we are going to jump right into that coach interview here with, of course, the SKT coach and the MVP coach.
네, 최현성 감독님, 이번 시즌에 멤버 변화가 많았어요. 그래서 강한 테란도 영입이 되었는데 그러면 이번 시즌 테란 제국의 부활을 기대해도 되는 건가요?
You guys had a lot of member changes this season. You have a lot of Terran players. Is your team going to be famous once again for having great Terran players?
기대해봐도 되는 거겠죠? 네, 많은 기대 부탁드린다고 합니다. 그럼 MVP
He says, yes.
굉장히 많았어요. 그러면 이번 시즌 목표가 담긴 강한 포부 말씀해 주세요.
우승하러 왔어요.
네, 역시.
So what are your goals for this season?
우승하러
To win, become the champion.
현성 감독님, 오늘 SKT 팬분들이 굉장히 많이 오셨어요. 그리고 선물도 많이 준비하셨거든요.
So a lot of fans actually showed up.
팬분들께
And they bought a lot of presents for you.
한 말씀 부탁드립니다.
Any words to the SKT fans here?
크리스마스도 다가오고 저희 프로리그 개막에서 첫 경기 많이 축하해 주시는.
Since it's Christmas and it's our first match in Pro League, they wanted to congratulate us today.
열심히 그 준비 저희를.
And I'm actually really thankful for all the presents they gave us.
거기에 걸맞는 모습 보여드릴 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
네, 굉장히 기대가 되고요. MVP 팀은 굉장한 자신감을 보여주셨어요. 미디어데이 때.
네.
지금 옆에 계시잖아요, 감독님이.
Showed a lot of confidence at Media Day, actually.
마주 보시고.
Any words to the SKT coach?
열심히 해서 이길게요.
아, 네. 네, 이번
Says he's going to try to do his best today to win.
모든 팀들이 한 번씩 경기를 치르게 되는데요. 어떤 팀이 이기게
Not
될지는
so many words now
지켜봐 주셨으면
from Shoya.
좋겠습니다. 지금까지 아유리였습니다. 중계진 나와주세요.
Very short interview. Neither coach really wanting to say a whole lot. We're talking about the second best team. I guess you could argue the team that everyone was saying was the best last season versus the team that's been completely restructured. And I think a lot of people wanted to hear a lot more than and we're gonna win. I think they really just don't want to reveal anything here.
Yeah, Uv not the guy who has like the most to say at times as well. I feel like KT out of the two telecom wars, the KT coach I'd say has a lot more to say most of the time.
Sure.
But you get kind of like that air of confidence, like you were saying. Maybe they don't want to reveal too much. They're just like, yeah, we're pretty good. Look forward to it. We're gonna beat you guys.
Well, they may also want to hide how they plan on using their players. For example, the new players. This is, of course, T1 fan cake. Merry Christmas. And even giving some wine bottles there with that cake, it looks like. And
There's a Christmas tree with presents.
Christmas tree full of presents. What could be inside? Not a chance.
I
I mean,
think
that
a
would
lot
be
of
spam
boxes,
and rice
man.
cakes, man. There's no way that's what's in there.
No, I don't think so. Definitely not.
Would never guess that to be the
No.
case. Here's another little fan bulletin board as well for SK.
Fly high T1.
Ooh, Jenner
Usually,
fan changing.
yeah, that's interesting.
Trader's Jenner fan is switching over. T1, of course, also having those wings, those butterfly wings as well, so they can still fly high.
I guess.
And, yeah, definitely going to be a good season for them. I feel like, though, the loss of some of these Protosses, Rain and Parting in particular, is that going to affect them so negatively that they struggle to perform? I feel like Innovation and Dream, for example, really need to fill that hole.
Yeah. Losing Sulky also hurts a bit as well because they used to use him a lot for ace matches. He was like their guy that, he had a lot of experience. Let's send him out in the ace. He's a very strong Zerg. And they lost him as well. They're going to have find that new ace match player. But guys, let's jump right into this game here. We got Dark here, the first player for SK Telecom T1. Very strong player. He just hasn't had that much time to show himself yet.
Again, I want to mention this for those older fans who remember this and those who don't. He was once called the secret project of Slayer's Boxer. He joined the team around the same time as Boxer, both leaving Slayers when Kespa started to make their move into StarCraft 2. And his potential is now starting to fully be realized, I feel. Definitely a very strong player. And it's Neo MarineKing here now on MVP. 7-4 versus Zerg, 10-13 in total in Pro League. Played a lot of matches for Prime last season and had a nearly 50% win ratio. He had some really impressive performances as well, notably defeating Roro, actually, in a TVZ. Nobody except you predicted that.
A crazy prediction. Crazy it came true. This guy, at that time, he was just kind of a guy that would show up every once in a while. He'd be like, what? How did he do that, actually? But nowadays, he's becoming much more consistent, much more solid, and he's really important to this MVP lineup, let me tell you. They're putting him out here first because they have a lot of trust in him. They want him to win this first game, and Dark's not an easy opponent.
Definitely not. MarineKing, most known recently for his Hot 6 performance and, of course, his matchup versus Protoss, the only matchup he played in the entire tournament. And now he's got to face a Zerg in game number 1.
Up here in the top left of the map, the red Zerg from SK Telecom T1. It is Dark. He's got some red hair going on, man.
Yeah, feeling the full SK power. Down to the bottom right in blue, formerly of Prime, now on MVP. The first time in this player's StarCraft 2 career to ever change teams. One of the most successful players of the early Wings of Liberty days. A multi-time GSL finalist. Never able to take that title. Known as the Kong of StarCraft 2 for always getting second.
Said she waited only for this day for Pro League.
Well, not a bad thing to wait for, man. It's not Christmas yet, but it basically is. 2 days left, and it feels like Christmas having these matches today, man.
Yeah. Don't forget, we're also going to have matches through Christmas, guys, for the individual leagues. So if you guys like Pro League, but you haven't heard about the SSL we got going on over here as well, you can stick tight. And for the next 3 days, me and you will be casting those. So
that's
we'll have
true.
a lot of good games there as well.
So, keep in mind that, if you want to, if you're one of those people who just can't sleep before Christmas morning, it's the perfect time to stay up all night and watch StarCraft. Definitely would recommend that.
It's a pretty good Christmas present, to be honest.
Yeah, I was the type of guy who just, on Christmas Eve, I could not sleep. It was terrible. I would always fall asleep around 5:30 in the morning to sleep 2 hours to go downstairs and open presents. But
yeah, I was that kind of guy too, especially when I was younger.
If I had SSL to stay up for, then it just wouldn't be a problem.
Be quite easy.
Oh, how times have changed.
Says strong and scary caster, and then I saw Kanata's name there.
Yeah, it's that strong and scary handwriting that we see on that sign all the time. Never seen that person's face. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. I have no idea, man. It's just that I know that
it's
handwriting,
a
though.
faceless person. So over here for the Zerg for Dark, he actually goes with pool first. Playing very safe on this map. It's a 2-player map. You know, sometimes Terrans do like to bring out the two barracks proxy on this map, as there is only one spawning location for their opponent.
Yeah, we see this a lot. Flash just recently did it in the SSL. Failed against Life. We ended up seeing him do that same strategy just earlier in his TGT match that he played in Pro League, but MarineKing is actually going to do a 1 barracks naked expand where he doesn't add any add-ons, just reactorless barracks, no Reaper, just a gasless expand. And it's a quicker expand with this. You don't get that Reaper pressure, you don't get that extra early scout, but he already knows what's up with his first SUV. Okay, it's pool first, these lings are out way too early, and now he knows what's going on and can react accordingly.
Yep, the gas here for Dark also taken. It's a bit late here, but he's going to get that up. Probably for that Zergling speed. Wants to take control of the map, but we will have to see just yet. He does have 3 guys in that gas. And we do see another CC actually coming down here by MarineKing. So he's going to go very greedy on the economic side of things. Just try to defend here on 2 base, keep that 3rd CC in the main, get those extra mules and extra SCVs.
Well, as we saw in the Hot 6 Cup, especially, MarineKing loves to be greedy, and he definitely is good at defending all-ins. You know, SOS found this out the hard way, actually, when he was playing against MarineKing. But at the end of the day, MarineKing is one of the players who can get away with being greedy because he's so good defensively. And he's been like this ever since his Wings of Liberty days. As soon as he moved on beyond the, okay, MarineKing can sprint Marines really well, what else can he do? He was all about going CC first, even on short rush distance maps, small maps. Loves to go fast 3CC. And we've seen this from this guy time and time again. So not a big surprise here, but let's see how well he does.
I mean, like you said, he's a guy that, you know, he's known for this kind of greedy economic play. And actually in the SSL qualifiers that I casted with Moonblade, he got caught out by this twice by Parting. Parting just did a very aggressive build very early on because he knew that MarineKing would be greedy like this, and he just, you know, knocked him out there. So pretty
That's
cool
true
to see. It can come back to bite you sometimes if you are this greedy, but Dark so far not really trying to punish him. He is putting down that Roach Warren now. He's taking that 3rd base as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's like sometimes hyper greed can be countered by hyper aggression, but if you scout the greed, it's sometimes too late to put on that type of aggression to punish something like this. And we saw from Parting in that series in particular, which is a really good series to bring up because Parting is a player who's very reactionary and does actually prepare really well for matches. It's just studying play that's broadcasted and reacting to it and preparing builds, basically blind builds, to counter your opponent in a qualifier even, where you're not really preparing that long. You don't even know if you're going to face MarineKing or not for sure. Well, let's see what this Roach Warren gets used for. See how many roaches he makes. He's going to make 7 at least here.
Yeah, he's also bringing down those back rocks. Could just be, you know, a kind of backdoor play. We see this sometimes where they, you know, go out of their back rocks and it catches the other guy off guard. But so far here for MarineKing, he's being very greedy in the fact that he's gotten that extra CC, and he's also putting down 2 engineering base here. So he's getting double upgrades as well on this, and he's just sitting back on his high knees and just waiting to defend, waiting for anything that Dark is going to throw at him.
Yeah, so, I mean, right now he stays with the 7 roaches. He's making a huge swellings, or he just did. They're coming across the map with him. MarineKing doing a lot at once here, but he is powering up quite a few units. And this first group of lings is spotted. He has no idea about the roaches. He has no scouts. If he brings any further Marines down to actually try to chase these lings, he's going to regret it. Okay, now he sees the roaches. Now he needs to repair. Let's see how many more bunkers he adds here. The first bunker, you know, with a few Marauders coming out right now, is going to help him hold on a little bit longer. But this isn't a huge commitment, on the other hand, from Dark. It's just a pressure play. It's not all in. Killed a few SCVs. He's killing depots. He's forcing bunkers to be made. Well, back at home, he's got his own lair. I'm getting that Baneley nest up for safety, but look at how ahead with this greed MarineKing is in upgrades.
Yep. I'm glad you point that out because, you know, back at home, Dark not doing the super aggressive play, just poking a bit, and he's getting these 2 Evo chambers a little bit behind. And at least he's got the 2, though. That is one thing he definitely needed to catch up to MarineKing here. And MarineKing, with that extra CC, he's just been able to get a lot of units here. Already got Widow Mines at the front for the defense as well. And that 1-1 is about to finish up here. Let's see if he goes out for any pressure. Maybe some drops coming in before the mutas get out.
Yeah, definitely what he would like to do. Now, a fourth base goes down here for Dark at the left side of the map, just like you were talking about, clearing out those rocks. His creep spread is actually insanely good. It's already moved it all the way up to where you see that Terran take their fourth up on that high ground where they usually make planetaries, for example. And he's got that creep to there. He's got it spread to another fourth base he could take to the top right of the map. So the creep spread here for Dark is insane. So he's got great vision. He's got great connectivity between his bases. And he's going to be able to bounce between them quite easily for defense. Meanwhile, using those same few links he made early on to harass over here a little bit. Going to pick off a few SCVs. It looks like gets one. Only one.
Yeah, and then just backs off. Again, just a little poke play here. A big stim by the entire army of MarineKing, actually. He's only got one medevac out, and it's not with the army just yet. So he really has to be careful here on creep. That creep you were talking about, a huge baneling hit, actually hits a lot of Marines in the front. Now MarineKing's got to go back and split like he loves to do.
Yeah, really good micro here for MarineKing, but he doesn't want to fight these roaches. Not without the rest of his army, at least. Another big stim here by MarineKing. Overstimming just a little bit here in this game. He only has one medevac out right now. 2 and 3 are about to join his army, and maybe that's why he knows they're about to join in, and he's going to be able to heal it up. But big stims, really wanted to get that creep, you could tell. I think that's part of the reason why he stimmed that first time, just to get up there, hit that creep, knock it back. Because the creep spread here, again, I just have to keep emphasizing this, for Dark is insanely good. It's really far out there.
Yeah. Very interesting army comp out of Dark as well. He's definitely favoring those roaches. He's already got 21 out here. That's why we do see a bit of a delayed spire. And, just a lot of the gas going into a lot of these roaches instead. Not a huge amount of banelings just yet, but he's got some. We see actually some sneaky ones over here looking to do some damage possibly at that third base.
Yeah, that's all of his banelings, in fact. So that's something to keep in mind. Only got 5 on the map, and they're all ready to harass. The roaches are going to be the defenders, the big tanky units that help him hold off here. The rest of his banelings to morph. Baneling speed's already done, so he's already got that going for him. This is a big attack here from MarineKing, and roaches against Bio with stim and medevacs aren't too good. The baneling hits here are pretty okay. Get 9 SCVs, but let's see how this roach comp holds up against the Bio, because there's a lot of Marines here, and here come those MarineKing splits.
They're
Marauders
very good. The banelings only hit a Marauder. The Widowmine in the back, I don't even think it went off. And now he's only got roaches. There's only like 5 banelings in this mix. And the splits are real. He's fighting on the creep. Actually, one of those baneling hits was really nice there. So he is forced to back off.
Yeah, and he got very aggressive on the creep there. And, he had the upgrade advantage. He was pushing through. He did split really well. Like you said, the banelings only hit that Marauder. But eventually the reinforcements were too much, especially with this creep spread. It's insane, actually.
He was splitting pretty well towards the end there, but oh no, he gets caught with his Widowmines not burrowed here. But Dark does not overcommit. He doesn't want to go off that creep. Knows he doesn't have to.
And again, we're seeing this Corruptor style. He loves his Corruptor Baneling style. Instead of Mutalisk, he loves to add Corruptors. And really the only player we've seen do this consistently in Pro League. And it's a really unique style. A lot tougher of units. They tank a lot more shots. They're less fragile. Of course, they can't fire down, but they're mostly to deal with these medevacs here.
Yep, gonna start getting to work on those medevacs and some really decent baneling hits here in the front. And he's actually going to engage here off creep. He's confident enough to do this. He has run out of banelings, but there's just not enough bio here. Like you were saying, this is a comp that just likes to fight against this bio kind of thing. All these medevacs, they have a really hard time against all of these corruptors. And now he's got a really big swell of units. The roaches are very tanky, able to fight against all those Widowmines as well. And he's just going for it.
This is a great comp out of Dark here. He is just looking so strong, so intelligent. He's doing things that we don't see other players do. And the roaches, just keeping him in this comp a little bit longer, it normally doesn't end up being the right thing to do, but in this game against MarineKing, with how this has worked out, he's just wrecking him right now. He's
rolling through, man. There are no more medevacs left. They're all dead.
His game's over.
He's pushed through. He just had such a great economy on these 4 bases. He was able to make a huge swell of banelings, and he's just able to push all the way through, all the way to the production right here. And MarineKing is just at a loss for now. I mean, he's got nothing.
You know what he's even doing that he didn't do before is using corruption on bio. He's corrupting every single Marauder. He's corrupting even Marines and medevacs. just to make sure that he could seal MarineKing's fate here for sure. And this comp that we're seeing with just a few roaches for tankiness, a great defensive play with the roaches, and using them later in the mid game, which ended up being the end game, I guess you could say, if it's the end of MarineKing here. But just using this style very, very well. And on top of it all, his creep spread was insane. That's part of the reason why MarineKing wasn't able to get that pressure done that he wanted to. And this is just way too much. Yep. He is dead, man. He's just
MarineKing. He's known for his GG timing. Yes. Sometimes he can get very emotional in that booth. Does not like the GG. But this game is over, ladies and gentlemen. The Banelings do roll through, just like crashing into buildings now into that orbital. Yep. And
this is that GG timing you're talking about.
Yep. Still pushing up here. The natural has been totally cleaned out. Not even sure if there's mining at the third here. Seems
Barely.
like there is, but he's sending some units over there now.
That one hero Thor is trying to hang on. Where's the Choya camera shot? That's what everybody wants to see right now, I think. Well, I guess we're going to watch him lose everything.
Yeah. This can happen
sometimes.
Drones coming off the line.
Wonder if he's got any overlords so he could just start making spine crawlers or something. Start making Manor Spires. Take it a step further than Manor Hatch.
GG is finally called. And Darkman, I'm telling you, this kid is playing so good. That style is so cool to watch with the Corruptors. I think everybody needs to take note of that style and his play. And he comes out first here for a reason. Takes the first game here for SK Telecom in pretty easy fashion.
Everybody loves an innovator. Everybody loves a player who plays differently, plays a unique style, and changes it up, changes the meta. Oh, doing the cutthroat.
Yeah. Dark is also a guy with a lot of personality. He's famous for coming out in an interview and saying, you know, I want to be the big Zerg on the team, back when Sulky was also on the team. And Sue was doing very, very well at the time. And he was like, oh, people don't notice me. I don't get to come out all that often, but I think he's going to have his spot here in the spotlight in the 2015 season.
Yeah, you feel like definitely a good choice to send him out first. Especially getting that win is really, really going to help, for him as a player, his mentality. On the other hand here, it's definitely not going to help MarineKing. It comes off of a loss, of course, at the Hot 6 Cup. Not able to take yet another GSL. And he just had a rough day today. Playing against that style, that insane creep spread. I guess a few minor micro mistakes out of MarineKing in that game, but it was really Dark played well, not the MarineKing played poorly. Yeah,
definitely have to agree. I mean, again, even though MarineKing got decently far ahead with the very greedy build he did with the the extra CC there and just his defense, at the same time, if you don't put any pressure